Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play, link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review for the new Psychic Awakening book, Ritual of the Damned, very kindly sent through by Games Workshop, so special thanks to them. You can check out gamingfigures.com, they're the channel sponsors, they do discount 40k and a load of other gaming systems available from them as well. So this Psychic Awakening is going to focus in on the Thousand Sons, the Grey Knights and the Dark Angels as well. So three factions here being dealt with in this book. So the usual format, this will be a full review, so we'll take a flick through the whole book, cover all the rules, all the stratagems will be covered in depth here, and a bit of Tactica as well, you know, which ones I think are pretty good and so on. I don't collect Dark Angels, do have a soft spot for them. I have been planning to collect them for a while, a great army, and now they're getting some new stuff as well. And then the Grey Knights, again, like those a lot as well. But haven't got around to collecting them, still busy with 15 other armies at the moment, but may well be a future project, both of those two Space Marine chapters. And then do have 1000 Suns, which was a secret project over on the Plus channel, which has since been finished. They've arrived on YouTube and have very much enjoyed using the 1000 Suns. Amazing range of models, and now some new rules and bonuses to help them out as well. So yeah, some mixed reaction to these books. I think some people are annoyed that the rules couldn't just be in new codexes, but maybe it's too soon to get a new codex for a lot of these factions, so instead they're updating the rules, adding some extra stuff. Maybe a stepping stone onto a codex. These new rules eventually end up in a new codex as it comes around, so Games Workshop not holding off for too long. They're updating these factions so they can keep up with the others that have new and improved rules as well. So it's okay, it's not too bad an idea. I suppose you just get the book that's relevant to you, and it gives Games Workshop a chance to release some models and revamp and release some new models and so on. There's a new book, new publication, a bit of hype, and then they're able to sculpt and produce new models and then get some sales from that. And I think that's the way they're able to get these new models out there. So it's alright an idea, it's not too bad. So just going for the introduction here, the Fate of the Damned. The storyline moves along as well, as you get the book able to follow the story. Planet of the Sorcerers, the Sons of Titan, Sons of Caliban, Dark Angels, the Emptying of Tizca, the Plunging of the Sword, Knights and Angels, Echoes of Awakening. Storyline then, and you're straight into missions. Not tons of fluff, just a good 20 odd pages of it. Yeah, 20 pages. So I'm not going to run through these in too much detail. The missions, we get stuck into the rules a bit later on, but Theatre of War is Demon World, just themed games to match in with the storyline as it progresses. Theatre of War, Plains of Glass, Echoes of War break the ritual. Some unique deployment zones and so on. We already set up some unique terrain for that as well. There's a sacrificial pit. Okay. And as usual, you get these unique stratagems as well. Dark Angels then. Okay, here we go. So we're expecting just an update for Primaris for them, just to bring them up to date with the other chapters. New character as well, Master Lazarus, which will cover the rules for him also. So this is telling you what you get here for Sons of the Lion. So new updated data sheets, new stratagems, psychic powers, the Phobos Psycho models, new warlord traits, Deathwing, Ravenwing character models, and Phobos characters as well. Relics of Caliban, special issue war gear. Got the litanies there for the Dark Angels chaplains, major feature for Dark Angels. You know, chaplains are quite a big thing for them. Got a random name generator as well, and the updated points values, which I'd imagine should match the points as seen in Chapter Approved 2019. I don't think there'll be any changes to that. So it's talking about the units. Okay, here we go. Abilities. So you get Angels of Death. So that's your They Should Know No Fear. Usual rules for Space Marines, reroll and dice for morale. You got your Bolted Discipline. Usual rules. Shock Assault. So when you charge, perform heroic intervention, or you are charged, you get a +1 attack, which is a brilliant upgrade for Space Marines. And you got your Combat Doctrines as well, which looks like it's just the usual. Devastator Doctrine. It's an extra AP -1 for heavy weapons and grenade, I think it is, yeah. And then the next turn you can change it, you can keep it as it is. You can go to Tactical Doctrine, so that's your rapid fire weapons and assault weapons, is an extra AP -1. You've got Assault Doctrine, which is your close combat weapons, and pistols, like AP -1. Again, that's these all, I think these are all good for Space Marines. You know, in general, the Bolder Discipline is great, Shock Assault, easy upgrade to make and pretty good. And then the Devastator, these the Combat Doctrines as well, sort of a standard abilities here for Space Marines are actually really good. Then they've updated the weapons, just all the standard stuff. You know, the same rules as we've seen for the other Space Marine books and upgrades and updates and so on. So Demolish the Cannon, for example, it's now heavy D6 regardless of who you're firing at. Just those updates. So we'll get stuck into Master Lazarus. Give you the points values as well. Should be not right at the back, it's here, yeah. So Master Lazarus, he's power level 7, great model, not completely over the top, quite standard really, but Master Lazarus is, oh, where is he? So I'm looking for his point. I'm looking for his points value here. I can't find it. As you got named characters, you should be here. I think Asmodai, Azrael, Bilal, Ezekiel, Samael on a Sableclaw, Samael on a Corvex. No Lazarus. I'm looking down here. Can't see him either. So I'm not sure. Maybe they've. And actually, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't see his points value, so I don't know the points value for this guy. I don't know where else to look. It's not going to be at the back. Oh, that's 1,000 Sons. Right, so his points value's not there. I can't see it. Maybe that's, yeah. Maybe it's been a copy and paste from Games Workshop, and then they forgot to add in the new model, perhaps. But I can't see him on here. So, movement 6, weapons skill 2+, ballistic skill 2+, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 6 wounds. So loads of wounds, 5 attacks, excellent. Remember, if he's charged or is charged, he's going to get another attack, so it's going to be 6 attacks, loads of attacks. 3 up save. He's got the bolt pistol, he's got Enmity's Edge, frag and crack grenades. So this Enmity's Edge is +2 strength, he fights at strength 6, it's AP -4, it's D3 damage. Resolve an attack made by this weapon against a psych unit, you can reroll the wound roll and you can reroll the damage roll as well. So yeah, he's pretty good, he'll cut down characters with that sword. Decent enough character. Imagine he's going to be about 100 odd points. So he gets Angels of Death, and then he gets Inner Circle as well, special rules for Dark Angels. Spirit Shield Helm. When a model in a friendly Dark Angels unit in 6, this model would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. Roll 1d6, adding 1 to the result of this model. if it is this model that would lose a wound on a 5+, the wound is not lost. So he's good at protecting other, or helpful enough at protecting other units from mortal wounds coming through. Yeah, pretty good. He's got a 4+ invuln save as well. He's got rights of battle, so reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by friendly Dark Angels units whilst within 6. And then Intractable Will. When this model is destroyed within an inch of enemy units, it can immediately fight as if it were the fight phase before being removed from play. Yeah, it's encouraging to get him stuck in. This ability is not cumulative with your starter's banner ability or the only Adeptus duty end stratagem. Yeah, an all-round decent enough character and a nice sculpt. Brilliant. Yeah, pretty good. If I was taking Primaris, I'd take this guy in the list. Pretty good. You know, not utterly amazing, but just a solid enough character choice. You wouldn't have him as your main character, but as a supporting character in your army, brilliant. So Interrogator Chaplain. I reckon what I'll do is, I'm not going to go through all the stats here for the Dark Angels, but I'll cover the ones perhaps that are unique to them. So Interrogator Chaplains are unique to the Dark Angels for sure. Power level 5 is 80 points. Movement 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4. He's got 5 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9, 3 up save. You've got the Crozius Arcana, just the usual for that. Power Fist you can take, usual rules for that. This model can be equipped with one of the following set of bolt pistols: a bolt gun, one weapon from the pistols list, a weapon from the combi weapons list, and one weapon from the melee weapons list. This model can additionally be equipped with 1 Power Fist. This model can have a jump pack. The model has a jump pack, its move characteristic is 12 against fly and so on. Usual rules: Angels of Death and Inner Circle. You get jump pack assault. If you take a jump pack, you've got 4+ invuln save for Rosarius. And then Spiritual Leaders. Friendly Dark Angels units can use this model's leadership whilst within 6. Aura of Dread, subtract 1 of the leadership characteristic of enemy units whilst within 3 of him. And then he knows Litany of Hate, which is units within 6 inches get to re-roll hit rolls, not failed hit rolls, but hit rolls in the fight phase. And he knows Litanies of Hate, mate, and 1 litany from the Litanies of Battle. At the start of the battle round, this model can recite 1 litany it knows that has not already been recited by a friendly model. That battle round, roll 1d6 on a 3+. It's inspiring. Then you have Primaris Chaplain. Usual rules for these: the Chaplain, the updated rules: Chaplains, regular Chaplains, Interrogator Chaplain, Interminator armor. So obviously going to get 2 up save. It's going to have 6 wounds, still the same number of attacks, 3 attacks, and the movement drops to 5. Same loadout there. And you get the Master of the Phobos armor with 6 wounds and 5 attacks. Usual rules for Phobos units. Lieutenants in Phobos armor, Librarian in Phobos armor. Then Asmodai here, 110 points, power level 7, movement 6, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 4, 5 wounds, 3 attacks, leadership 9 and 3 up save. It comes with Blades of Reason, which is strength for the user, strength 4, AP 0, and then D6 damage. And he's got the Crozius Arcanum as well. Exemplar of Hate. Add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models of Dark Angels Infantry and Dark Angels Bike units whilst within 6 of any friendly models with this ability. So +1 attack, brilliant. 4 up invuln save. Aura of Dread. Written twice. There's a bit of copying and pasting going on here. Look. Aura of Dread, Aura of Dread. ... There, Spiritual Leaders. And then knows Litany of Hate, and knows 2 other litanies from the Litany of Battle. It can recite 1 litany it knows. That's it. Okay, so still limited to just the 1. A Primaris Master. Intercessor squads, all updated war gear and so on for them. Infiltrator squads, Incursor squads available as well. Invicta Tactical Warsuit, Suppressor squad, Eliminator squads, the snipers there, Repulsor Executioner, the Impulsor, and that's all those. So fully updated now. It's good that the Space Marine chapters are all being brought up to an equal footing with the new Space Marines Codex that came out. So Dark Angels players are going to be happy enough, to get those upgrades there, just to bring Dark Angels up to the same level. So, Grim Resolve here. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made with ranged weapons by models in this unit, so long as the unit did not move this turn. So you're sort of sitting there, stand your ground, and then you get a bonus when you shoot. In addition, this unit can never lose more than one model as a result of any single failed morale test. So you're creating that very solid impression here for the Dark Angels. Relentless Hunt. Whilst the Devastator Doctrine is active, the range characteristic of all heavy and rapid fire weapons equipped on Dark Angels units with this ability is increased by 6. So you've got range 30 bolters, range 36 for your bolt rifles, for example. The range characteristic of all assault and pistol weapons equipped on Dark Angels units with this ability is increased by 3. So as long as that Devastator Doctrine is active, getting a bit more range. Yeah. Fine. Can't see a problem with that. It's okay. Then you've got talking about successor chapters here. Relics of Caliban, stratagems, psychic powers, litanies, tactical objectives. So there should be 3 pages of stratagems here. So I'd imagine a lot of these, I'll call them out, but a lot of these are going to match the new stratagems that the new Space Marine book has. Duty Eternal. 1 command point, use a stratagem and a Dark Angel's Dreadnought model from your army is chosen as an attack, so you're halving the damage on that one. Bolt Storm, 2 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of the shooting phase, select one Dark Angel's Intercessor Squad. To the end of that phase, auto bolt rifles, models and that ability equipped. Models in that unit are equipped with gain the following ability. Resolve an attack made by a weapon against a target within half range. Do not make a hit roll, it's auto hits. It's pretty good, that one, that Bolt Storm. Auto hits. A powerful enough stratagem, that one. And maybe encouraging people to get onto the auto bolt rifle, because it's not the popular choice usually, but that one there, that stratagem is very good. Hunter Slayer Missile. When you can fire that from your Dark Angel's Repulsor, just causes mortal wounds. You can upgrade your veterans to veteran intercessors, giving them +1 attack and leadership. Rapid fire, 2 command points for Dark Angel's Intercessor Squad until the end of that phase. Bolt rifles that models this unit equipped with have the type characteristic of rapid fire 2. If you're sitting still, it's then going to turn into 4 shots. So, but I guess you're looking to take larger units to make this work well. Or to make it to be worth the command points, units of 10, and chuck out 40 shots if you sit still with them. Then high speed focus, 1 command point, use a stratagem when a Raven Wing unit from your army is chosen as a target for an attack made by a ranged weapon. To start with your next movement phase, models in that unit benefit from the Jink ability, even if they didn't advance. The Jink ability. Useful. Jink is going to be a special rule within the Dark Angels Codex. Big guns never tire. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase with Dark Angel's vehicle unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, the unit doesn't suffer the penalty for moving and firing heavy weapons. 1 command point. Vengeance of the Machine Spirit. That's 2 command points. Use a stratagem in a Dark Angel's Land Raider model. Dark Angel's Repulsor or Storm Raven gunship is destroyed. You get to shoot one of the weapons. So, yeah, standard Space Marine one. Target sighted. 3 command points. Use a stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select one Dark Angel's Intercessor Squad from your army. It lets you shoot at characters there. Useful again, and again useful on a bigger unit, which isn't always helpful if you're trying to get like multiple battalions and stuff for your command points. But we're thinking about this for my new revamped Imperial Fists list. I may have smaller units of Marines just to help fulfill the detachments, and then take like a big unit of 10 intercessors that I can play my stratagems on. That's the kind of thinking I reckon I could go for. So you don't have to have all the squads big, just have 1 or 2 bigger squads that you can put your stratagems on, and then have your smaller squads just to help get the structure of your army, to get those precious command points. You need the command points to pay for the stratagems, especially these ones. They're 2 command points, 3 command points at a time. Fury of the First, so +1 to hit rolls for your first company or the Deathwing Terminator squad here, 1 command point. Steady Advance, 1 command point, use a stratagem in your shooting phase with Dark Angel's infantry unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, for the purposes of the Bolt of Discipline ability, it's treated as having remained stationary. Excellent, very, very helpful. Hero of the Chapter, 1 command point. You get to put a warlord trait onto a character. Gene wrought might. When a Dark Angel's Primaris infantry unit from your army is chosen to fire to the end of that phase and resolve an attack made by a melee weapon, on a 6 it scores a hit and successfully wounds the target. Stand firm. On command point, use the stratagem, a Deathwing terminating unit from your army is chosen as a target of an attack. To the end of that phase, increase the toughness characteristic of models in the unit by 1. Yeah, useful. You're about to be shot at by an attack with tons of shots coming through, and it's coming through at strength 4. Just boost your toughness to toughness 5 just to cut down on some of the damage coming through. Targeting guidance. One command point, use the stratagem at the start of your shooting phase. Select one enemy unit within 12 invisible to a Ravenwing Land Raider or Land Speeder unit from your army. To the end of that phase, and resolve an attack made by model when a friendly Dark Angels unit against that unit. You can reroll the hit roll. Okay, so Land Speeder's helping out with that. Yeah, useful. Your tactical use for land speed is there. Full throttle. On command point, use a stratagem in your movement phase. After removing a Ravenwing unit from your army, you can make a second move of that unit this phase. That unit can advance as part of that move. If it has not already advanced this phase, you can't shoot or charge though. But if you need to get somewhere quick, very, very helpful. Combined Assault, 2 command points. Use a stratagem at the end of your movement phase. You set up a Deathwing unit from your army using Teleport Strike ability. You can set up the unit within 6 of a friendly Ravenwing biker unit that's not advanced and more than 6 inches from enemy models. Whoa, so useful. Any models that cannot be set up in this way are destroyed. So if you get that bit right, you can bring in a Deathwing unit nice and close to the bikers. Cool. Transhuman Physiology. 2 command points. Use a stratagem of a Dark Angels unit from your army that is not a vehicle or a servitor is chosen as a target of an attack. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made against that unit. An unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or the model making that attack may have. Okay. Adaptive strategy. There's not too many that are significant here to the Dark Angels. There's a few. Use a strategy at the start of the battle round if there are any Dark Angels character models from your army on the battlefield. Before you change what combat doctrine is active. If the assault doctrine is currently active, you can change it to tactical doctrine. If the tactical doctrine is currently active, you can change it to devastator doctrine. You can only use a stratagem once per battle, so again, standard Space Marine 1. Evasive assault. Use a stratagem in the fight phase when a Ravenwing bike unit from your army that made a charge move or was charged this turn is chosen as the target of an attack. To the end of that phase, you get a 5+ invuln save. Then outnumbered but never outmatched. 1 command point. Use the stratagem in the fight phase when a Deathwing unit from your army is chosen to fight over. To the end of that phase, add 1 to attacks characteristic of models in that unit. If the unit targets any enemy units containing 10 or more models. Yeah, again, encouraging you to get stuck in. Then Honoured by the Rock. Use the stratagem after nominating a model drawn from a Dark Angel's successor chapter to be your warlord. You can give 1 relic of Caliban to a character model from your army that's drawn from a Dark Angel's successor chapter instead of giving them a special issue war gear relic. If you do, replace the Dark Angel's keyword in all instances on that relic, if any, and so on. So just being able to use the relics on successor chapters. So then you've got your Obscuration Discipline and your Vanguard Warlord traits, which are the same as the traits for Space Marines, I believe. Yeah, so it is the same here. Obscuration, Discipline, Shrouding, Soul Sight, Mind Raid, Hallucination, Tenebrous, Curse, and Temporal Corridor. Yeah, it's the same. So standard rules here for these. And the Vanguard traits as well, I believe. Right, Ravenwing and Deathwing and Ravenwing Warlord traits. So this will be unique here for the Dark Angels. So if you go for Deathwing, then there's 3 here. Lay Low the Mighty. You can reroll wound rolls for attacks made by melee weapons against character units or units with a wounds characteristic of 8 or more by models in friendly Deathwing units whilst their units are within 6 inches of this warlord. So these ones are good. It's not only is it the warlord that gets this, but it grants the benefit to others that are nearby. So that is a very, very good warlord trait, that one, I think. You need to remember it during the game, maybe even sort of build part of your army around that ability, because it's one that's worth remembering. Reroll wounds. Yeah, and it's reroll wounds, not fouled wounds. Reroll, wounds. If you know there's modifiers and things involved, you can choose to go for the reroll. That's very, very good. Yeah, and it's not even limited to characters. It's all units of wounds characteristic of 8 or more. So you use it for vehicles, monsters. Yeah, very good, that one. So an excellent start. That was a very powerful warlord trait, that. Inexorable. When resolve an attack made against this warlord, unmodified wound roll 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities and so on, similar to ones that are already out there. Watched is next. Once per battle, your opponent's psychic phase. In your opponent's psychic phase, this warlord can attempt to resist one psychic power in the same manner as a psyker by taking a Deny the Witch test, even if your warlord is not within 24 of the enemy model manifesting the psychic power. When taking that Deny the Witch test, do not roll the dice, is automatically passed. No way. God. Yeah, well, it's once per battle, but wow, gosh, really good. Don't take the test, it's an auto pass. That's fantastic. Yeah, it is only once per battle, but useful enough. So there's some good ones there for the Deathwing. Ravenwing Warlord traits. Impeccable mobility. Number 1. Whilst you're within 6 inches of this warlord, models in the Ravenwing units from your army do not suffer the penalty of moving and firing heavy weapons, or advancing and firing assault weapons. So excellent. Really good. Tactically flexible once per battle. At the start of the battle round, you can select a combat doctrine that is not currently active. At the end of that battle round, resolve an attack made by a model in a friendly Ravenwing unit within 6 inches of this warlord. Again, there's that range bubble again. You can treat the chosen doctrine as being active instead of the currently active doctrine. So you can specifically bring in a doctrine that's not in play for the rest of the army with that one. So again, really good. I'm actually impressed by these. There's some real potent ones here. Real good value. You take the choice, and it's not like some warlord traits like you can re-roll a single dice, or it's very insignificant, or +1 to leadership or something. But for units nearby. But this is these are all really good. Outrider. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, this warlord and one other Ravenwing unit from your army can move up to 12 inches as if it were the movement phase. They cannot advance as part of this move. Those units must then move more than 9 inches away from enemy models. If both players have units that can move before the first turn begins, the player who's taking the first turn moves their units first. A bit of a chance to move with the warlord and another unit as well. So that one's useful enough. So some real good warlord traits there. So very useful. But they're strong enough and have enough impact there that you could start building strategies around some of those. Very good. So you got the Relics of Caliban. Reliquary of the Repentant. Ravenwing biker model only. Worse than the invuln save of enemy units by 1 to a minimum of 6+, whilst within 3 inches of model this relic. And invuln save 3+ becomes a 4+. That's brilliant. That is excellent. Another brilliant relic. Or another brilliant ability there. That's very, very good. Corvus Oculus, Ravenwing Talonmaster model only. Add 6 inches to the range characteristic of ranged weapons a model this relic is equipped with. Resolve an attack made by ranged weapon by a model of this relic, add 1 to the hit roll. Standard of the Unforgiving Hunt, Ravenwing Ancient model only, add 1 to advanced rolls and charge rolls made for friendly Ravenwing units whilst within 6 inches of a model of this relic when the roll is made. Another very good relic. There, Blade of Burden, Deathwing Master model with a power sword. It then goes to +2 strength, AP -4, and 2 damage. Brilliant. Resolve an attack made by this weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6, inflicts 2 mortal wounds on the target, and the attack sequence ends. So, resolve an attack made. This weapon, unmodified wound roll of 6, inflicts 2 mortal wounds on the target, and the attack sequence ends. Does that mean you don't carry on rolling to wounds and so on with the rest of the attacks that have made it through? Interesting one. Pennant of Remembrance. Deathwing Ancient model only. When a friendly Deathwing infantry model within 6 inches of model this relic would lose a wound, roll a dice and a 5+. The wound is not lost. Yep, very useful. The Key of Acrobale. Not sure how that's pronounced. Deathwing model only. Add 1 to the strength and attacks characteristic of a model of this relic. Special issue war gear. Adamantine Mantle. It's 5+, feel no pain. Artificer Armour, 2 save, 5+ invuln. Mastercrafted Weapon. Select one weapon the model is equipped with. It cannot be a weapon that has Mastercrafted. Word, add 1 to the damage characteristic of that weapon. That's considered to be a chapter relic. Digital Weapons. Model with this relic fights. It can make 1 additional attack using the close combat weapon profile. When resolving that attack, a hit is scored, the target suffers a mortal wound and the attack sequence ends. Arbiter's Gaze. Resolving attack made by model with this relic. Ignore negative hit roll modifiers and ballistic skill modifiers. When firing Overwatch, the bearer successfully hits using their ballistic skill rather than on 6. Nice, pretty good. Increase the range of a model with this relic's aura ability by 3. And Bolts of Judgment. When you give a model this relic, select one bolt weapon this model is equipped with. When that model shoots that weapon, you could choose for it to fire a Bolt of Judgment. If you do, that model can make only 1 attack with this weapon, but the weapon has an armor penetration characteristic of AP -2 and a damage characteristic of 3. Resolving that attack, a wound roll of 6+ is successful if the target is a vehicle unit or monster unit, otherwise it's a 2+. Yeah, pretty good actually. Bolts of Judgment. So then you've got Litanies of Battle, the usual 6 for Space Marines, and then Dark Angels, Stoic Prosecution. So if this litany is inspiring, when a Dark Angels infantry unit within 6 of this unit did not advance or fall back this turn is chosen to shoot with, models in that unit can shoot with ranged weapons as if they had remained stationary, so pretty good. The only danger with these, the annoying thing, annoying Space Marine players, is you got to roll that 3+ to make it go off. You know, and you could build a micro strategy around that. A small strategy is part of that combination you're going for, and it doesn't work. You've done all that movement, and then it doesn't activate, and then you're real stuck. So that's the risky thing with that one. Whereas things like the warlord traits we looked at, they're fixed, they're guaranteed. You don't need to roll to make them to go off. So I would say with Litanies of Battle, I've got to try and think of it this way with chaplains, is to take their bonuses as a welcome bonus, but not to rely upon it in a game, because it's going to let you down occasionally, and then you can find yourself in a real sticky situation. So just take it as a bonus, added bonus they can add, but you're not dependent entirely on it. More of an enhancement to a plan you've already got lined up. So there's your name generator, points values, they've just done all the points values there, and then we're on to the Grey Knights next, which I've got a question here. Grey Knights, still the models are amazing, but they are falling behind. I think there's not much new going on with them, you know, a character here and there maybe, but so fluff wise, I don't know the answer to this question, but can Grey Knights get Primaris models? Is that part of the fluff? Would they receive Primaris models or not? And then if that is the case, wouldn't it be amazing to see Primaris Grey Knight styled models? It's not standard Primaris intercessors, but the equivalent, but with a Grey Knight style and sculpture. That would look amazing. It really would, because I think the Grey Knights, they need help. It's not just rules, but they need models, supporting models, sort of the Primaris equivalent to the help that the Space Marines have had. Yeah, okay. But anyway, Brothers of Sanctity. So abilities then. They get Bolt of Discipline, Shock Assault, and Masters of the Warp. So we know about the other 2 Bolt of Discipline and Shock Assaults. That's going to help them out. More attacks now, better Bolt of Fire, and so on. Masters of the Warp. Units of this ability gain a bonus depending on which of the Tides of the Warp is dominant. See below. If you have a Battle Forged army, units only benefit from this bonus if every unit of your army has this ability, excluding servitor units. Start the first battle round. Choose which of the Tides is currently dominant. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the first one. The dominant tide can subsequently be changed using the warp shaping psychic power. Right, so you use a psychic power to shift things around. There you go, interesting. So your tide then, there's actually 4 tides here. The first is Tide of Fury, and these, I'm hoping these are good here to help Grey Knight players out. So here we go. Whilst this tide is dominant, when resolving an attack made with a nemesis weapon by an infantry model with this ability, you can reroll a wound roll of 1. Devastating. That's okay. Oh dear. Right. The rerolling wound rolls of 1. So, right, okay. Not too bad. Right, okay. Tide of Convergence. Whilst this tide is dominant, add 1 to the strength and damage characteristics of psi weapons that infantry models with this ability are equipped with. +1 damage and strength. Yeah, not bad. Not bad. These aren't utterly devastating, I don't think, but they're okay. Tide of Shadows. Whilst this tide is dominant, a unit with this ability receives the benefit of cover to its saving throw, even while it's not entirely on within a terrain feature. Yeah, this is very helpful. So imagine you get this on turn 1, probably, just to protect yourself. When resolving an attack made with a ranged weapon against a unit with this ability, well, it is entirely on or within a terrain feature, it's -1 to the hit roll. On top of that as well, wow, Tide of Shadows is excellent. Wow, so that's a significant help to Grey Knights. Wow. Tide of Escalation. Whilst this tide is dominant, when a unit with this ability and the rights of banishment ability manifests the smite psychic power and is not resisted, that power inflicts an additional mortal wound on the target. But Tide of Shadows, I'd imagine, is going to be the popular one. And it may well be that players sit on that for the entire game. Because yeah, all of a sudden, most of your army, virtually all the army, would be on 2+ armor save. Yeah. Masters of the Warp. Grey Knights units, excluding servitors. Yeah, even vehicles, I think, are going to get it. Tide of Shadows. Interesting. So, they're just clarifying what's a nemesis weapon, a psi weapon, and bolt weapons. Rules here for chaplains. I'm not going to go over these because it's pretty much just an updated profile for that, and that's it. Right, just a chaplain being added in. Right, so stratagems. There's some Space Marine ones in here. Transhuman Physiology. That's 1 to freeze, ignoring damage coming through 2 command points. Then Masters of Combat, 2 command points. Uses stratagem in the fight phase, and the Grey Knight's Paladin unit from your army that has not been chosen to fight with this phase is chosen as the target of an attack. To the end of that phase, the model that in that unit is destroyed. Then, before that model is removed from play, it can fight as if its unit had been chosen to fight with. So, useful enough. Ah, right, okay. So you get wiped out, you get a chance to fight. Useful. Vengeance of the Machine Spirit. 2 command points. Uses stratagem when a Grey Knight's Land Raider model or Grey Knight's Storm Room gunship is destroyed. You get to make a shooting attack. Overwhelming Assault. Uses stratagem 1 command point. Uses stratagem in the fight phase. Select 1 Nemesis Dread Knight unit from your army. At the end of that phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of that unit and resolve an attack made by a model in that unit. You can reroll a wound roll of 1 and you can reroll a damage roll of 1 as well. A damage, so it's a single roll if those come up. It's only 1 command point, so it's pretty worth it, I think. Dynamic Insertion. 1 command point. Uses stratagem when a Grey Knight's unit from your army set up on the battlefield using teleport strike ability. You can set up that unit anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 3 inches away from enemy models instead of 9. If you do, you cannot charge. Oh, come on. It's too good to be true. You can't charge. But if you're armed with a load of flamer weapons, for example, then that may well be useful. Oh, no. You can't charge. We're onto a golden nugget there. Okay, bring down the beast. 2 command points. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. After shooting a Grey Knight's unit from your army, select 1 enemy vehicle or monster unit that was chosen as a target for that unit's attacks. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model in a friendly Grey Knight's unit against that enemy unit. You can reroll the wound roll. Big guns never tire. No penalty for moving firing heavy weapons to a vehicle. 1 command point. Fury of the Proven. 1 command point. Uses stratagem in any phase. Select a Grey Knight's Terminator unit for your army. To the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a model in that unit. You can add 1 to the hit roll. Right, so that's the Fury of the first company. Powerful Adept. 1 command point. Uses stratagem in psychic phase. Select a Grey Knight Psycho from your army with the rights of banishment ability. Until the end of that phase, the range of that psychic powers that the unit manifest is increased by 6. Duty Eternal, which is a Space Marine 1. It's halving the damage on a Dreadnought unit. Fight on the move. Use your strategy at the end of your movement phase. Select one Grey Knight's Interceptor squad from your army. At the end of that phase, that unit can be chosen to shoot with and charge, even if it fell back. Yeah, useful if you can remember to use that during the game. Empiric Surge, 1 command point. Use a strategy from your psychic phase after a Grey Knight psychic unit from your army is manifested as a psychic power. At the end of that phase, a psychic test is taken. When a psychic test is taken for any Grey Knight psycho unit within 6 inches of that unit, add 1 to the total. Not too significant, that one. Redoubtable Defense, 1 or 2 command points. Use a strategy from your opponent's shooting phase when a Grey Knight's terminating unit from your army is chosen as the target for an attack. If the unit contains 5 models or fewer, it costs 1 command point, otherwise it's 2 command points. Until the end of that phase, resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon against that unit, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that weapon for that attack to a minimum of 1. -1 damage. Yeah, useful if you've got a damage 2 stuff coming through. You know, your Terminators with 2 wounds. Yeah, helpful enough. Yeah, at the right point in the game, if you can remember it. Useful. Steady Advance. 1 command point. Use a strategy from your shooting phase when a Grey Knight's infantry unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, for the purposes of the Bolt Discipline ability, counters remain stationary, untainted and unbowed. 1 command point. Use a strategy when a Grey Knight's Purified squad from your army is chosen as the target of an attack. At the end of the turn, models that unit have a 4+ Invuln save. When morale test is taken, don't roll the dice, it's auto pass. That's 1 command point, that's good. Yeah, it's a good one. See for Grey Knights. Pretty good. Preternatural Senses. When a Grey Knight's Purgation squad unit from your army fires Overwatch, to the end of that phase, resolving an Overwatch attack, it's 4 to 6 scores a hit. It's just the 2 pages, but it's some pretty potent ones in there, and some of the good ones, just 1 command point, so yeah, not too bad at all. Dominus Discipline here for Grey Knights Psychers. So warp shaping is a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select a tide of the warp that is not dominant, then you can change it to whatever you want it to be. So that's fine. I like the one with the shadows there for cover. Yeah, there's no range involved. It's always, I think it's just always cover. I think Grey Knights have received significant help here. That Tide of Shadows is a game changer. And then if you're in cover, it's -1 to hit rolls as well. Yeah, this is really good. I'd be excited enough for Grey Knights to play out. I think these are really good. Leave your own comments. If you're Grey Knights, maybe play Grey Knights for years, a long time. You know, is this good news or not? But I think this is really good. That Tide of Shadows is amazing. You can change it around if you want to with warp shaping. Armoured Resilience. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one friendly Grey Knight's infantry unit within 12 of this Psyker. To the start of your next Psychic phase, resolve an attack that targets that unit. -1 to the wound roll. So you start combining these things with some of the stratagems, you really can protect units. So yeah, Grey Knight's quite elite, quite a smaller army, but now with some stratagems and psychic powers, it looks like you're able to stack up a load of protection to try and stop the casualties from flowing in. So yeah, so if you can I reckon you get some pretty good combos to really build up like a defense for units to keep them safe. Varial Manipulation, warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one friendly Grey Knight's unit within 6 inches of the Psychic. So the start of your next Psychic phase, resolve an attack made by model in that unit. In the shooting phase, against a unit that is within half range, you can reroll the hit rolls. Edict Imperator has warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select one friendly Grey Knight's unit within 12 inches of the Psychic. You can shoot as if it were the shooting phase, and then make a move as if it were the movement phase. So you get to do both, and then get to make a move. Can't advance part of this move. The unit cannot shoot again this turn or charge. So why would you do that? Yeah, a chance to shoot and then move away. Yeah. Trying to get my head around this. But you get to do it during your psychic phase. Yes, you've already moved. I've got it. So you move out. You then activate this, shoot as if it was your shooting phase, but what the bonus is, you get to move afterwards. So you get to move back, move away, disappear, whatever you want to do. So yeah, useful. Imperial Domination has a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, you gain a command point. Useful. Yeah, keep your Psycho alive throughout the game. He's got nothing to do. You can just try and harvest command points. Okay, useful. And then Inner Fire. It's a warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one enemy unit within an inch of the Psycho roll D6 equal to the result of the psychic test. Roll a number of D6 equal to the result of the psychic test. For each roll of 1, the Psycho suffers a mortal wound. For each 3 plus, the enemy unit suffers a mortal wound. That's brilliant. Yeah, that's a really good one. 3 plus. Yeah, so Inner Fire's quite lethal, actually. Very good indeed. No, Psychic Discipline here, pretty good for the Grey Knights as well. Relics of Titan, Blade of the Forsworn, model with a Nemesis Force sword only. This relic replaces a Nemesis Force sword. You get +1 strength, AP -3 and 3 damage. And there's abilities here. When resolving an attack made with this weapon against a demon unit, an invuln save cannot be made. Wow. Good one. Sanctic Shard. When a psychic test is taken for a model with this relic, you reroll the result. Add 1 to the total for psychic tests taken for a model with this relic. Augurium Scrolls. When resolving an attack made with a Nemesis weapon by a model in a friendly Grey Knights unit within 6 of a model with this relic, an unmodified hit roll of 6 scores an additional hit. So not too bad. Stave of Supremacy. Model with a Nemesis warding stave only. When a psychic test is taken from any model within 18 of a model of this relic, the enemy model suffers perils of the warp on any roll of a double. Yeah, it's hardly ever gonna go off, and you got to actually remember it as well. Not that great, that one. Artisan Nullifier Matrix. Librarian model only. Once per turn, when a psychic test is taken for a friendly Grey Knights unit within 6 inches of this model with this relic, you can increase or decrease by 1 the value shown on one of the dice. Right, so it can help you out with perils. Yeah, if you're on a 6, double 6, you can make it into a 6 and a 5. Double 1, you make it into a 1 and a 2. So, yeah, not bad. And then Etheric Conduit Tech Marine model only. When using a model with this relic's blessing of the Omnicide ability, the target regains up to 2d3 lost wounds instead of d3. That is very helpful indeed. Then you've got Litanies of Purity here for the chaplains. So, Litany of Faith. This litany is inspiring on a model of this ability, Grey Knights unit. When a model in a friendly Grey Knights unit within 6 inches, this model would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. It's 5+ to ignore. Words of Power. If this litany is inspiring, select one friendly Grey Knights unit within 6 inches of this model. When resolving an attack made by a model in that unit with a weapon that has a random damage characteristic, you can reroll the dice when determining the damage inflicted. Intonement for Guidance. If this listing is inspiring, select one friendly Grey Knights unit within 6 inches of this model. Resolve an attack made by a ranged weapon by a model in that unit. Ignore hit roll modifiers and ballistic skill modifiers. Yep, useful. Refrain of Convergence. If this listing is inspiring, when neither which test is taken for this model, add 3 to the total. Yep. Recitation of Projection. If this listing is inspiring, select one friendly Grey Knights unit within 6. Add 6 inches to the range characteristic of bolt weapons and psi weapons models in this unit are equipped with. Invocation of Focus. Again, as I said earlier on, you be careful. Yeah, you build up some kind of plan for that turn around this, and then it doesn't go off, and everything's ruined. Invocation of Focus. If this listing is inspiring, select one friendly Grey Knight unit within 6 inches of this model. Resolve an attack made by a model in that unit which has a Nemesis or psi weapon. Improve the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon by 1 for the attack. So, you could have that as a bonus to add into your attack, but your whole attack's not going to fail if that doesn't go off. You can still go ahead, just not going to get the extra AB -1. So that's the kind of thing I think is better. If you get it, that's great. If you don't, then you can still fight on. But ones like this where you need a certain range, it's dependent on that, it doesn't go off, then it can really mess things up. So that's the bit of caution there for that one. Random name generator, points values, and then we're on to the Thousand Suns. This is territory that I should be a bit more familiar with here for my own Thousand Suns force, which I'm revamping at the moment. Well, just adjusting, I think, for chapter approved. I've got a plan of how to change them around. Hope to do an update video for these on the Plus channel very soon. So, I know a couple of helpful stratagems, just a few enhancements here and now. I think I'd be happy enough with here. So, Sons of Magnus. So, Cults of the Legion, pages 79 to 83 provides rules that allow you to further personalise your Thousand Suns attachment to represent one of the following 9 cults of the Legion. So, Cult of Prophecy, Time, Mutation, Scheming, Magic, Knowledge, Change, Duplicity, and Manipulation. Stratagems, Name Generator, they get Hateful Assaults +1 to attacks. Malicious Volleys, which is your Bolter Discipline rules. And then, talking about keywords, psychic powers. All Thousand Suns cult psychers know the relevant cult psychic power in addition to any other psychic powers they know. So these psychic powers I'm going to call out here, all the psychics get it for no extra cost. Not going to take up any extra slots. Warlord traits. Character as your warlord, you can have the relevant cult warlord trait instead of a warlord trait from the Codex Thousand Suns. There's a warlord trait available here if you so wish. So the one I take is +1 to the invuln save, my Demon Prince, and makes him a 3+ invuln save, which I think is pretty good. So it's going to take something pretty significant to change that around. And then Sorceress Arcana. Note that if your model is led by a Thousand Suns cult warlord, you can give the relevant cult Sorceress Arcana relic to a Thousand Suns cult character model from your army instead of giving them a Sorceress Arcana relic from the Thousand Suns Codex. So it swaps it around. Name characters such as Ariman cannot take the relic. Note that some relics are weapons that replace one of the model's existing weapons, and use rules for that. So, what I'm looking for here is an all-round combo. So, a decent psychic power, a decent warlord trait, and a decent relic, because you're quite locked in to all 3. So, I'm looking for a triple combo here that's pretty good. So, relics I have at the moment is Helm of the Third Eye, which I think is your ability to harvest command points. Then there's the other relic that lets you move the bearer or a unit nearby it and relocate with them. So that's the kind of relics I'm running at the moment. And then the psychic powers are free, but you're going to get it as well as usual psychic powers. So maybe it's then 2. The war. Oh, yeah, we'll see. So here we go. Cult of Prophecy, the first one. At least there's 9 to choose from. See, there's bound to be a couple of good combos here. Divine the Future then for this one, Cult of Prophecy. It's Orc charge value of 6. If manifested, roll 1d6 and set it to one side. To the start of your next psychic phase, you can use that dice roll to replace a single roll rolled for a hit roll, wound roll, advanced roll, charge roll, psychic test, neither which test, or morale test for a Cult of Prophecy unit from your army. So it's a precious, it's not a re-roll, but it's a fixed result dice roll. And you use it for anything. So you roll a 6, you think, I'll save that for trying to make smite go off, or for a damage result on a d6 damage weapon. Or you roll anything, you roll a 3 or a 4, you could use it for a Terminator save if you roll a dreaded 1. So you're going to need it. It's guaranteed you're going to need that dice. So that's helpful. Useful little power that you can use. So it's a good start. Warlord trait, guided by the Whispers. Once per turn, after this warlord fires Overwatch, you immediately move up to 6 inches. If you move phase, that wouldn't really help me at all. Sorceress Arcana. This is your relic here. A Pythic Brazier. When a unit within 6 inches of a friendly model with this relic is chosen to shoot with or fight with, you can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 rune roll, or 1 damage roll. So you can't do all 3, it's choosing one. yeah, it's a unit within 6 inches of this relic. So you cluster a load of units around the relic bearer here and improve the reliability of your other units. So that's a good relic, that one. So yeah, Cult of Prophecy, pretty good. We're off to a good start here. Cult of Time. Psychic power is Time Flux. So warp charge value of 5. If manifested, select one friendly Cult of Time infantry unit within 6 inches of the Psyker. You can return one destroyed model from that unit to the battlefield with all of its wounds remaining, placing it in unit coherency. Well. Pretty good. If the unmodified result of the psychic test was 9 or more, you can instead return up to D3 destroyed models from that unit to the battlefield with all their wounds remaining, replace them in unit coherency. Oh wow, I have Terminator models, Terminator units in my army, and all of a sudden I like this one. God. And correct me if I'm wrong, all the Psykers get this. So the amazing thing about this, all Thousand Sons Cult Psykers know the relevant Cult Psychic power in addition to any other Psychic powers there. The amazing thing about this is this powers on all the units. So if you have a particularly damaged Scarab Occult Terminator unit, then that's the unit that you manifest the power with, and you get your either one model back, which is brilliant for Terminators, or D3. Fantastic. So I like Cult of Time, and I can't see any beating that. It suits whatever suits your list, but this one suits mine. It's got 2 units of these Terminators. It's tragic when they get blown away and damaged heavily, which they can do, but this ability to put models back on is fantastic. So what I'm hoping for now is a decent warlord trait. And no, you don't have to take it. No, I'm not fussed. I don't have to take this warlord trait. I don't have to take this relic here. So the warlord trait, immaterial echo. If in your psychic phase, if this warlord manifests a psychic power with a psychic test of 9 or more, which mine does, Demon Prince, this warlord can attempt to manifest an additional psychic power that phase. Only one additional psychic power can be manifested as a result of this warlord trait per phase. So an extra power. I still think I'll keep my 3+ invuln save because I use my Demon Prince in close combat a fair bit. But that is a good one as well. Then the relic, the Hourglass of Manat. The first time model of this relic is destroyed, at the end of that phase, return that model to play with D3 wounds remaining. No way. Never. Now I'm willing to trade in my my 3+ invuln save. Oh no. Because I have the psychic powers let you add an extra 1 to psychic to invuln saves. Yeah, as and when I need it. Because my invuln save with my Demon Prince, I'm not using it every turn. There's a few turns where he's moving about, he doesn't really need it because his character is hidden. He only needs it when he's getting stuck in close combat. So I could use the psychic power to add on the +1 to the invuln save at that point when I need it. And play it that way. Yeah, drop that 3+ invuln save to 4+, and then add this Hourglass of Manat. The first time model of this relic is destroyed, at the end of that phase, return that model to play with D3 wounds remaining. Because again, I have psychic powers that let me restore wounds. I could resurrect him and then start chucking the wounds back on. Oh boy. Placing it as close as possible to its previous position, more than an inch away from enemy models. That is incredible. Wow. Cult of Time. You cannot beat that. That is... God dear. Yeah, if you're a Thousand Sons player, you're bound to... I hope you're as excited as I am, but that's brilliant stuff. Very, very good. Any abilities that restore models, I think it's great. That's why I enjoy using the Necrons, but here, this is excellent. So yeah, super excited about my Thousand Sons, and the changes I'm making for chapter approved, the new list I'm proposing on the Plus channel, the additions, because there's been some points reductions, the new stuff I'm adding, I think it's going to be great. So, and this all matches in perfectly. So there you go, Cult of Time. Cult of Mutation. So the warp reality. This is the psychic power. The warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one terrain feature within 18 inches of this psyker, then select one enemy unit within 3 inches of that terrain feature until the start of your next psychic phase. Halve the unit's move characteristic and subtract 1 from advanced rolls and charge rolls made for that unit. So you're changing the countryside. And these really fit in with the theme of whatever you're doing with your army as well. Exactly as what Games Workshop have said. This helps you further enhance the theme that you're going for. Warlord trait, touch of vicissitude, I don't know how that's pronounced, and then when resolving an attack made by a melee weapon by this warlord, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 inflicts a mortal wound in addition to any other damage, so that's okay. And then exalted mutation for the relic, sorcerer model, add 1 to the strength, toughness and attacks characteristic of model with this relic, which again is good on a Demon Prince. That's really good. Oh sorry, sorcerer model only, so he gets it, it's limited to him. But not beating the Cult of Time, that's going to take a lot of beating here. Cult of Scheming is next here. So, seeded strategy. So, what charge value of 6 if manifested. The other great thing is, you know, I'm running multiple armies, and when it comes to a book like this, I read through all these new rules, and you think, oh, it's all these new stratagems, there's all these new traits to learn, and this book to keep referring to. I can just make a copy of that, copy and paste that. You know, print it out on a piece of paper, have that next to my army, or just jot down the rules, and that's just my reference. Done. Easy. So that's another great thing about these, just all self-contained within this little column. So I'm wondering why this is an idea here. I like the whole concept of this, but seeded strategy for the psychic power. So what charge value of 6 if manifested, select for any cult of scheming unit within 24 of this psyker. That unit can shoot and charge this turn even if it fell back, so that's alright. Warlord trait, grand schemer. Whilst they are within 3 inches of this warlord, for any cult of scheming units gain the disciplines of Tzeentch ability. If such unit already has the disciplines of Tzeentch ability, each model in that unit counts as 2 models for the purposes of determining who controls an objective marker. The Chaquifal's Fiorum. This is the relic. Once per battle, any model. Once per battle, in any phase, you can use this relic if a model with this relic is on the battlefield. If you do so, select one stratagem to end of that phase, or until after that stratagem is used by the model this relic's controlling player, whichever comes sooner. Reduce the command points cost of that stratagem to 0. So useful enough, that one. Cult of Magic. The psychic power is Astral Blast. So what charge value of 6 if manifested, the closest enemy unit within 9 inches of and visible to this psyker suffers D3 mortal wounds, and each other unit within 3 inches of that unit suffers a mortal wound. The Brotherhood of Sorcerer's ability only increases the first range of this ability of this psychic power, but that's pretty good, that one. That psychic power is quite nasty. Warlord trait, you know, because a lot of packing characters and models tightly together in 8th edition. With the removal of blast markers and so on, so that one you can let that loose in amongst a load of units. Warlord trait, devastating sorcery, and this warlord manifests a psychic power. It inflicts 1 more mortal wound on an enemy unit. Increase the mortal wounds inflicted on that unit by 1. So, for example, D3 mortal wounds becomes D3 plus 1. Sorceress Arcana, the arcane focus. When a psychic test is taken from a model with this relic, add 1 to the total. Yeah, plus 1 to all your psychic tests. Brilliant. Yep. Is there the ability to... Yep, there is. So, sorry to flick ahead here. Manages to... 1 command point. Use a strategy before the battle after nominating your warlord. Select 1,000 Suns character model from your army that is not your warlord and determine 1 warlord trait for it. So it just means that you can unlock... I can stick to my usual warlord trait. Yeah. And then take this warlord trait on someone else. Or however you want to organise your own. I'll probably try and go for the whole lot as Cult of Time, so they all get access to Time Flux. Just keep it nice and simple. But to unlock this one, yeah, because I can keep my 3+ in 1 save, have him resurrect himself, and then continue to also use this Immaterial Echo warlord trait here, which is attempting to manifest another psychic power, and stick that on one of my exalted sorcerers, for example. Oh wow. Yep. Yeah. Nice. So, very good. So I'll press on here. There's some crazy stuff going on for the psychic powers for the Thousand Suns. Very good. So, at the Cult of Knowledge, Psychic Delve, there's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 18 of the Psyker to the start of your next psychic phase. Resolve an attack made against that unit by a friendly Cult of Knowledge unit. Reroll wound roll 1. That's alright. Rerolling 1s to wound. The Warlord trait, when a Psyker, it's Ardent Scholar. When a psychic test is taken for this model, you can reroll dice rolls of 1. So, it's alright. It's not that amazing really compared to some of the others. In Caledion's Cry, models with a warp flame pistol only. So instead it turns into range 12, pistol d6, strength 6, -2 and 1 damage. And resolve an attack made by this weapon. You do not make a hit roll, it's auto hit, same as flamer weapons. Cult of Change is next. The psychic power is Disturb Reality. It's a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy unit within 12 inches of the Psyker to the start of your next psychic phase. Subtract 1 for that unit's leadership and attacks characteristic. So it's alright. Fickle Nature. For the Warlord trait, you reroll charge rolls for this Warlord. This Warlord can shoot and charge on a turn in which it falls back. The relic is Capricious Crest. Once per turn, when a psychic test is taken for a model within 18 inches of a model of this relic, you can change the result of that psychic test as follows. If that model is from your army, you can change any roll of 1 to a roll of a 6. If that model is from your opponent's army, you can change any roll of a 6 to a 1. Yeah, good. I'm actually have good fun with that one. If you remember it, you've got to keep remembering it throughout the game. But it's an 18-inch range. Once per turn. So you're going to get to do it on your turn, and then you get to do it on your opponent's turn, basically. Cult of Duplicity. Sorcerer's Facade is a warp charge value of 7. If manifested, select a Cult of Duplicity unit within 6 inches of this Psyker. Remove that unit from the battlefield. Set it up anywhere on the battlefield that's more than 9 inches away from enemy models. That unit is treated as having moved this turn. So, I mean, that's a psychic power. You can do that every turn. So now all of a sudden you're picking up units and moving them around the board. Excellent. Yeah, so you've got those slow Terminators or the slow Rubric Marines. All of a sudden they can be jumping about all over the place. Warlord trait, Duplicitous Tactician. The start of your first battle round, before the first turn begins, select up to D3 Cult of Duplicity units from your army. Move these units and this Warlord from the battlefield, and then set them up again following the normal deployment rules for those units and the mission being played. If you redeploy a transport vehicle, all units inside that model remain so when it's set up again. Yeah, this is very useful, this one. And then Perfidious Tome, the start of the battle round, roll 1d6. If a model of this relic is on the battlefield, on a roll of a 1, your opponent gains a command point. On a 4+, you gain a command point. 4+ for a command point. Yeah, Cult of Duplicity, that is an excellent one. Yep. Psychic power, Sorcerer's Facade. Ability to move again. It's quite hard to make it go off though. No, it's a 7, it's not bad. Extra Warlord trait. Yeah, there's the temptation to start splitting your army into multiple detachments here. And making use of these. Cult of Manipulation. Attempted possession as a warp charge value of 6. If manifested, select one enemy character unit within 18 of the Psyker. That unit suffers a mortal wound. To the start of your next psychic phase, when a psychic test is taken for that unit, subtract 2 from the total. Beguiling Influence here for the Warlord trait. Subtract 1 to a minimum of 1 from the attacks characteristic of models and enemy units whilst within an inch of this Warlord. And then Surface Reflector. When a model of this relic is chosen to fight within the fight phase, you can select one enemy infantry model with a leadership characteristic of 9 or less that is within an inch of that model. Select one melee weapon that any model is equipped with. Until the end of that phase, the model of that relic is treated as only being equipped with that weapon, and it can only make attacks against the enemy model's unit. When resolving each of those attacks, you reroll the hit roll, reroll the wound roll as well. So using your own enemy's weapon against them with that one. Now, it's real tasty ones in there. I think Thousand Sons players are going to have a lot of fun with those powers, and so I'm sure there's going to be some great combos emerging with that. But I'm still pretty fixed, I reckon. Cult of Time, and it's great fun restoring models, especially those expensive Terminator models. And my Dim Prince, to have him resurrect, because it's quite a focal point in the army, to have him just guaranteed get back up again is a game changer. And just thinking back all the games that have been played, the amount of times he's died and have lost a great asset, but if he's able just to get up again, brilliant. So we looked at Majesty already. Ability to take extra warlord traits. Warlord trait, Infernal, Fusillade. Here, use your stratagem when a Rubric Marines unit or Scarab Occult Terminated unit for an army is chosen to shoot within your shooting phase. To the end of that phase, models in the unit can shoot twice with rapid fire weapons if the unit did not move. That is fantastic. Because Terminators, for example, there you go. Well, any unit that doesn't move is going to get the benefit of the rapid fire rules. Yeah, but especially if those the Terminators get 4 shots each at range 24 with their Inferno combi bolters and the ability for a command point if they sit still to do that again. This is powerful stuff here for the Thousand Sons. They've all done well. All 3 of these factions have done well here. Grey Knights, some great stuff for them. Dark Angels, pretty good. And then Thousand Sons, amazing. Yoked Automata, 2 command points. Use the stratagem at the end of your opponent's charge phase. Select one enemy unit that finished a charge within an inch of Thousand Sons character units, other than a Zangul unit from your army that phase. One Rubric Marines or Scarab Occult Terminators unit from your army is within 12 inches of that enemy unit and not within an inch of any enemy units can perform heroic interventions as if it were a character. In doing so, you can move up to 2d6 instead of 3 inches. The unit from your army must end that move within an inch of the enemy unit and not within an inch of other enemy units, otherwise it does not move. So you can intervene and help out. So yeah, if you remember it, useful enough. And then Risen Rubricae. Use a stratagem, 1 command point. Use a stratagem when you set up a Rubric Marines unit from an army during deployment. The unit can be set up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 9 inches away from the enemy deployment zone and enemy models. You can only use a stratagem once per battle. So, ability to deploy out in no man's land, for example, somewhere. Yeah, helpful enough. Sorceress, because they are slow, and there's a number of psychic powers, stratagems and so on, trying to help the Thousand Sons get moving a little bit with some of their slower units. Sorceress Infusion, yeah, and this is happening because it seems to be, with the new rules for Chapter Approved 2019, you've got to have mobility. Mobility is key. Units being able to move around the battlefield otherwise, because there's the need to pick up objectives a lot and so on. So, Thousand Sons not being left behind here. Sorceress Infusion, 1 command point. Use a stratagem after resolving a psychic power manifested by Thousand Sons model from your army. If the result of the psychic test for that power was 9 or higher, so you wait until it's 9 or higher and then you play the stratagem. If that model's unit contains any models that have lost any wounds, select one of those models to regain up to D3 lost wounds. Otherwise, if any models in that unit have been destroyed, you can return one of those models to the battlefield with all of its wounds remaining, placing it in unit coherency. Yep, this is fantastic. It's really good. So you're not wasting this because you're waiting till you get that 9 or more. And as soon as that 9 or more arrives, you say, I'm going to play this stratagem, and then you're going to restore D3 wounds, which is excellent. Even my Dim Prince, he's damaged, he's taken damage, taken wounds. He rolls a 9 for one of his psychic powers or higher, immediately restore D3 wounds back on him. Fantastic. Or against Terminator squad or Rubric Marine squad, pay the points and restore a model. Indomitable Foes, and amazingly, it's 1 command point. Indomitable Foes, 1 command point. Again, use a stratagem when a Rubric Marines unit or Scarab Occult Terminators unit from an army is chosen as the target of an attack until the end of the phase. Improve that unit's invuln save by 1. Yep, excellent. I don't have to run a psychic power to do it. I've got the ability now to use a stratagem. here, and then Adeptus of the Imperial in 1 command point. If the stratagem is 1,000 suns, use the stratagem if 1,000 suns Psyker from your army suffers perils of the warp. The Psyker does not suffer perils of the warp. Amazing. Another one. Amount of times perils of the warp has caused trouble because you're doing so many psychic powers. It does come up a fair bit. But now you've got a command. Now you've got a stratagem that lets you just ignore it. So the amount of stratagems in 40k now is there's tons of them, and so with the armies that I have, I've been really trying to bump up the amount of command points. So a lot of my armies are shifting towards double battalion at least, just to get those precious command points. Because I mean, even these ones here, these are excellent. But this is one of the best boosts I've seen. The 1,000 Suns random name generator, points values, and Magnus the Red. There it is. So that's the review, the full review and tactic of Psychic Awakening Ritual of the Damned. Quite a long video, but I like to just exhaustively go through everything. Maybe you're listening to this more than you're watching it. You're doing some painting. Maybe you're painting 1,000 Suns models at the moment, or Grey Knights, or whatever it is you're painting up, and you're able to listen and get an idea of what's to come when this book arrives. Or maybe you're watching this at a later date. The book has arrived, but it's just helping refresh your memory for the various rules that you'll need. But it's all good stuff here. I think all three factions, whoever collects these, will be happy enough. Good stuff for the Dark Angels, pretty much as expected for them. Then the Grey Knights, I think it's very, very welcome bonuses for those as well. Very, very useful. It's game-changing stuff for them. And then for the 1,000 Suns, I came to this book thinking, oh, it's probably just going to be a few not important stratagems. You know, I could pretty much ignore this book and just carry on as I am. But no, I need to take advantage of this book here for the 1,000 Suns, because it's some very, very potent stuff for sure. So you can the future games of the 1,000 Suns, hopefully, and they haven't started the league yet, so this has come just at the right point for them. And really, the upgrades for that army is just going to be a few units, so should be able to get them back out on the battlefield. And I think they're going to be potent enough with the help of this book. That's some major improvements for my 1,000 Suns list, and to make them even more deadly. So the Imperium had better watch out for that army list. But there it is. That's the full review. Check out gamingfigures.com. They do Games Workshop and a load of other gaming systems at a discounted rate. Thanks again to Games Workshop for sending me a copy ahead of time. Hope you've enjoyed the review. Check out the other reviews on the channel and all the other content as well, and keep a lookout for more reviews and content in the future, both here on YouTube and on the Plus channel as well. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.